Okay, hello everyone, and I'm so glad you decided to tune in tonight on a segment about suicide. Tonight we're going to be discussing how suicide affects people and their families, the suicidal thoughts, and the aftermath that people have to live with once they've lost a loved one. Suicide is one of the leading causes of death in the United States, and it affects people from the ages of 10 to 34 years old most of the time. Of course, we get people outside of those brackets, but that is average. Today, we have Lavelle Tatter, 49 years old. He lost his son to suicide. We have Bryce Davis, 22 years old, and he lost his brother to suicide. We have Travis Martinez. Travis lost two brothers to suicide, and he also lost a nephew to suicide. Suicide is very real, and these guys are going to share their stories with us tonight. We're hoping that this reaches somebody. If you're having suicidal thoughts, we're going to help you. I'm going to provide numbers and information that you could use. You don't have to talk to anybody about it. You don't have to let them know who you are, but I am going to give you a gateway to get help if necessary. I hope you guys tune in and listen to the entire interview. Okay, first of all, Lavelle, I'm so glad that you're with us tonight, and I'm so sorry to hear about the very tragic situation with your son. If you don't mind, would you care to share anything about your experience?
Sure. Good evening. And first of all, I want to thank you, Ro, for inviting me. Got the phone call. I want to thank you. I want to send a big shout out to my son, Bryce. He called me on my way home from work and told me this podcast was going on. And he told me the subject, and he know how I feel about that now, so I was all over it. So yes, I would be honored to share it. And Travis, to you, my brother, thanks for coming on, being with us. All right, I'm going to tell y'all real quick, just a quick story. I had this, like Rose said, personally affect our family in September 2016. Our son, Bryce's brother, Dominique, was 25 years old. Father of a 3-year-old, soon-to-be 3-year-old daughter, and a soon-to-be 1-year-old son. On the afternoon/evening of September 22nd, 2016, for whatever reasons, really can't say. Dominique felt that him leaving here was more important than living, and put a 38 in his mouth and took his own life. It was a life-changing event for us. I got the call on my way from home, and immediately after that happened, I've been on a mission. I spoke on it earlier, and Travis spoke on it. If I could just say one, we had just seen Dominique 2 months earlier. My father had passed away in July of 2016, 2.5 months earlier. I flew Dominique and his sister in from Texas after the celebration life service for my father. We kicked it around, me and my brothers, and him and his cousins, and his brothers and his sister. And, outwardly looking, there was nothing to show. And I say that because I'm 23 years as a pediatrics nurse, as my former profession, an administrator now. Dominique had obviously something going on that me as a father and me as a nurse, and more importantly, me as a black male, I grew up in a society. My grandparents didn't talk about suicide in the black community. My parents didn't talk about suicide in the black community. And I'll be honest with you all, I didn't talk about suicide to my kids because to us it was a stigma. That is not a black disease, as they like to call it. That is not a black thing to do. That's not what we do. But I tell you what, after what happened to Dominique, it was a blow, a smack in the face. And the more research I've done, it happens more than you'd ever think. So though I'm out there for the awareness for everyone, but for us of color, us people of color, please, if you're out there, please talk to someone. As Travis said, they don't have to be professional. Talk to someone.
Okay. And thank you so much for sharing that. Bryce, if you don't mind me asking, so when you found out about the death of your brother, was it a surprise to you, and how did it affect you?
When I had found out about it, it was very random for me because number one, it was like the day just seemed to be too perfect, and then that night, in the midst of like laughter and being out with my friends, I get a call while I'm on campus, and they say my parents called me and they say they want me to hear from them before anybody else.
Bryce, I'm so sorry. I just want to make sure we can hear Bryce. Can you speak up just a little?
Yes,
We
ma'am.
want all our viewers to hear.
But basically, I received a call from my parents, and they said that they wanted me to hear from them and not anybody else that my older brother had killed himself. Honestly, it shook me, not just because my older brother had passed away, but because in my eyes, that was literally the strongest person in my life.
Wow.
So it was like that was literally like my superhero. Like he was the one that,
Wow.
like besides my dad, he was the one that told me like, yo, like you do everything by yourself. But just like Travis said, like as black men, like we think that the way to handle everything is just push it down, push it away, instead of just facing our problems. But
Wow.
yeah,
So,
honestly,
so your brother was the type of person that was strong.
yeah.
So you would have never imagined that it would come from him. Like you would never get a call about suicide from him. See, sometimes people think that people that commit suicide, you can always see signs, or these people appear to be troubled. But that really shocked me, especially me always being a dominant person. You just wonder, where did those thoughts come from? And what led to that, and it just brings more awareness to that. Thank you for sharing. So, Travis, you lost two of your brothers to suicide, and a nephew. I mean, that's just breathtaking.
Deep.
I'm not sure I've ever heard of anything like that. Do you care to share anything?
I mean, at one point I had 3 older brothers. 2 of them, the 2 oldest ones, decided for one reason or another that they didn't want to be a part of this world anymore. And both of them left nephews. Both of them left me a nephew, I should better much say.
Okay, so they both had one child.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They both had one child. One was a year older than me. We didn't really get to communicate with them. We had just so happened to catch up with them by the time I turned 23. And we had finally linked up. Everything was going great. We were having communication, and then out of nowhere, he just dropped off again. 2-3 months later, my mom called and told me that he had just like his father, committed suicide.
Wow.
Okay. So, excuse me. I just want to be clear that people understand. So, 2 of your older brothers committed suicide, and one of your brothers that committed suicide, his son also committed suicide.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay, and how old was his son when he committed suicide?
His son was about 25.
Wow. I mean, and I know this just is a touchy subject for anybody. I mean, my heart really goes out to all of you because I have no idea what this feels like. And I really commend you guys for being so open about it, But how did that make you feel, or what state of mind did you have to battle with? Any thoughts of your own to get through this?
I mean, when my first brother did, I was a little bit too young to understand. But by the time when my second brother committed suicide, the oldest, that one left a little bit more of a scar because I actually remember things from that day. Like he blew his brains out. I saw the aftermath of all of that.
Wow.
Between the ages of 3 and 5. It was more like I was trying to just ignore it, and I was trying to be the happy person in my other brother and my mom's life. Now it's just the 3 of us at the time. I was just trying to be the happy person, that strong person for everyone else. I mean, my mom was distraught. I mean, it was a time where she wouldn't really talk that much. Like, it was a time that my house was really quiet for a very long time. Like, not even no TV on, no radio.
Oh my goodness.
It was almost like a dead house. Like, it was quiet for a while. I mean, we started coming back, getting lively again. But it's weird because parts of our family don't understand it. Like, and I can actually admit to say that that they say that suicide comes with a lot of obvious hints. It doesn't, but it does come with hints.
Do you think that, and this is open for all of you, well, you already said there was no hint for you guys, as a matter of a fact, but do you feel like you saw any hints with your brothers or your nephews at all?
Like I said, with my first one, I was a little bit too young. The second one, I just came home to it.
Right.
And my nephew, I mean, at that point, and it's sad to say it like this, but at that point, I'd had an idea. I mean,
Yeah.
I had an idea that something was off. I tried to call, I mean, my whole family, me, my brother, my mother, we all tried to communicate at one point, and we were just getting ignored.
Yeah. It's
Now,
like, what can you do? You know, and that's interesting, you guys. And I'm going to tell you this. I did some research of my own because, you know, I just wanted to see, you know, how everybody is being affected by suicide and things we could do to help prevent it. And, I mean, we both agree that, we all agree, we can look for signs all day. But sometimes the signs are not there. So we need to treat everybody that's connected to us, so in our circle, as if they could be going through something we don't know about. Because the truth is, we never know what people are going through in their minds. You know, you just don't know. And I've had people in the last 30 days, that's what kind of prompted us having a conversation on suicide. You know, it didn't just come out the clear blue sky. I've had people that have just been calling and saying, Ro, thank you for being nice that day, because I had something crazy on my mind. And I would have never thought that about those people. But sometimes us just being nice or cracking a joke, you know, or just being nice. Okay, and I'm going to tell y'all a little story. When I initially opened my business, there was a Indian young lady that worked in the building next door to me. And you guys know how people can be annoying. I'm trying to get my business off the ground, and every day, you know, she coming in, hello, Roshana, hello, and I'm like, before she even opens the door, I'm like, what? Jesus! So, anyway, she will always come over, and she would ask me to put her flyers up on my wall about her eyebrow waxing business next door. And I would tell her, I'd just be like, okay, and I would kind of put it off, get into it. And I remember one day, I finally just did it. And she and I talked a little bit about her commute back and forth to work, you know, but she said she was going through some things, but, you know, I'm like, everybody go through traffic sometimes. It wasn't a big thing. I probably didn't look into it as much as I could have. And I came to work the next day, and I remember her not coming in. And you know how people annoy you, but when they don't come around, you be like, where are you at? Right. And they told me she had literally jumped off a bridge.
Wow.
And killed herself. The bridge that she was talking to me about being stuck on a lot of times in traffic. And that floored me.
Right.
I'm serious, y'all. It floored me. I remember that night I went to Bible study at the church because I really didn't have nobody to talk to about it. And I had to have everybody in there put their hands towards me to pray that off me, because I felt terrible. Because for me, I saw the signs.
Right.
And I didn't even take the time to really listen to what she had to say. She just wanted to talk. And I'm not saying it's my fault.
No.
But you never know what your influence can be used and where it can be used to save a life.
That's right. And Ro, if I could just jump in there, what you said was excellent. It was very true. You know, you don't always know. Now, Dominique was in Texas when this happened.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Dominique committed suicide in his mother's house.
Oh.
And his brothers, who had just passed away from a car accident 3 years prior over the United Kingdom, he's stationed in the military, in his room. I can remember his mom telling me he walked up to the room just real quick, told her he was hearing voices or whatnot. Do you need to go to the hospital? No, just pray for me.
Oh, no.
She prayed for him. I honestly believe that was his goodbyes to her. He left, went back to the room, and came back again, didn't say a word, went back to the room, She followed him to the room, closed the door, and pulled the trigger. You know, I hope she don't blame herself. I can't blame myself. You never know what nobody's going through. But if somebody is reaching out to talk to you, like you said, bro, you never, ever know. That might be that point to either have them go do what they do or bring them back and seek help.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. That's big. And it's just one of these things with suicide, you guys. You know, what do you guys think of? I mean, can you imagine having a 5-year-old child that commits suicide? I'm noticing, I work with the teens in my community, and I noticed that a lot of my teens are having these kind of thoughts. And we do move forward with getting our teens into counseling sessions and things like that. And, you know, many of my teens, they keep it street. They like, bro, look, we go to those counselors, and a lot of the counselors, they feel like the counselors really don't care.
And I understand that more than anybody.
Do you?
Yeah.
Tell me more.
I mean, like I said earlier, before we started recording, you don't always need to go to someone that you gotta like pay for or go to an office and have a conversation. I mean, go to your barbershop, talk to your barber, like, or if you're a woman or someone who gets their hair done, go to your stylist, go to a salon, there's someone that will listen. There's enough people to listen. You don't need to pay someone. They help some people. I'm not disregarding them, and I'm not throwing nothing towards what they do, because they do save a lot of lives.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's your preference and your experience.
But you don't need you don't need someone like sitting behind a desk all the time, like writing down what you're saying, just saying and just telling you pretty much just pretty much regurgitating what you're saying in a way to try to make you feel better, where you could just have a friend just be like, I'm sorry. That could help a lot more people than
somebody they don't even know.
Right, someone they don't know. You can't really, there's no attachment there. I mean, we're not talking about like a dog got ran over or something like that. No, we're talking about like a close family member just went and did the unbelievable and killed themselves. Like, it's not like everybody can just communicate outside of certain situations and it work. Like,
right.
You just get more frustrated. You'll get more irritated because you feel like someone's almost mocking you. It's like they're making fun of you in a way in the back of your mind. This is what suicide does to people. The people that are left behind, they end up feeling like people who are trying to just help aren't. It's like they're just trying to make fun of them, or they're just humoring them.
Oh, now that's a different perspective right there.
Like, once you realize that you're not being humored, and you normally find that like with friends, like, or at your barbershop, salon.
Yeah, they like, dog, you lunching. You
right,
lunching,
yeah,
dog.
like,
Stop
you know,
crying, nigga.
You see how people come at you in a way that at least like,
They be
yeah,
like, stop crying, nigga, stop whining.
Yeah. AKA keeping it real with you.
Yeah,
know?
like, understanding.
That might be what you need at that time.
You might not always need someone to be like, I understand, you made me this. And not to mention, half the people know that when you go to these places, they're trying to give you some type of medication for depression. But who wouldn't be depressed right now? Like,
so basically, now that's a different perspective, guys. So you're basically saying that depression is inevitable in everybody's life at some point.
Yes. Who wouldn't be depressed if you just witnessed family members commit? I've not
experienced.
If you've been going through the experience, if you've gone through the experience of suicide from a family member, a close person of any type, who wouldn't be depressed?
Right. So why do I need medication for something that's natural?
Right. It's natural to understand that you are depressed. A loved one just died. I mean, people get depressed when, like I just said before, when a dog dies. Like,
you right about that.
So I don't understand why you have to go to somebody when it's a natural thing. Sometimes you just need that one person that's just gonna be like, hey man, it's gonna be alright. Come on man, let's go shoot some ball. Let's go do something. Hey man, let's go to the club. Let's go have some fun. Like,
yeah, I know y'all be doing more than that. I know y'all be doing more than that.
I mean, there's PG time.
You know what I'm saying? No,
for PG reasons, we will only say PG things, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, keep it at 100. Whatever it is, though.
Whatever your thing is.
Whatever y'all think is right.
To but make sure you keep it to a moderation. Don't go to excess. If you need that drink, I understand. Take that drink, but don't drink the bottle.
Yeah, so basically what you're saying is if you're doing stuff for leisure, if you fall into depression, I feel like if you run to things, okay, let's get it out in the open. Because it's true, y'all. A lot of people have been high. A lot of people smoking weed. I smoked weed for years. And a lot of times I was high because I didn't want to deal with what I was dealing with. When I smoked, it was Gucci. I didn't have to deal with it. But when I decided to stop smoking, when I needed to be clean for a job or I needed to be clean because I was looking 56 years old, you know, I just started wanting something different. I started to realize that all of that stuff was still waiting for me.
Mm-hmm.
I still didn't heal. And I like to talk to my young people about that because if you feeling like you depressed, I think, do we agree? I think that is the worst time to try to drink it or smoke it away.
Yeah.
You're right.
It's only a momentary.
No. Like I said, I understand like when it happens, and you need that drink for that moment. Go ahead, have that drink. Like I understand like that, having that release of this has just happened to me. Like, but don't go to the excess. Don't smoke like 4 or 5 days. No, if you gotta hit that. If you want to smoke a J, if you want to, you want to drink, you want to have a drink.
Don't be in that zone like Craig.
I understand. Like,
all right, y'all, we're gonna move along over that.
I'm just saying. I understand.
But the point is seriously, people do not realize that at that dark moment in your life, even if it's not directly suicide, you know, and I don't want to get too far away. If you're going through any darkness in your life, if you lost your job, you know, we got people going through furlough right now. Right. You know, it's just not. It's easier said than done, but it's like it's not the time to drink a fifth because it's an easy way to stay in and fall in. Okay, thank you guys
Go
for
to the
that.
gym.
Yeah. Okay, so what are some outlets that y'all think work for me? Going to the gym works for me. I haven't been.
Running.
But
Going to the gym,
I haven't
running.
been lately, but.
Swimming.
Exercise for me. I'm a runner.
Okay.
Go find
I need
your-
to get back to running, but I'm a runner.
You like to run.
That with my job, I mean, I'm a patient advocate now, so I pretty much hear complaints all day. Okay, you know, that can take a toll on you because I'm the one just tasked to fix those complaints.
That was so funny.
You know.
He said, I pretty much hear complaints all day. Okay.
I mean, so my release for that is running. That's a stress reliever for me.
Okay, so running. Bryce, what do you do? What do you do for fun?
Honestly, it was hard for me to go into the things I did for fun. Like, when my brother passed away because some of my crafts I got from him.
Wow.
So it would be like I was drawing because he drew. Yeah.
Well, that is one of the traits of depression.
Yeah.
You know, it's safe to say you were having depressed side effects because, you know, that's an alarm.
Mm-hmm.
When you know you love to do something and you don't enjoy doing it anymore, and I understand that's normal at a time as such. You know, it takes time to heal. But it is something to take note of. And I think that no matter what darkness we're going through, you guys are living proof that you can beat it.
Absolutely.
I mean, you guys are thriving. You guys are back at work. You're living your lives. You know, your mental is healthy. You know, and I just like people to see that because if somebody meets you in a Chipotle or in a Red Lobster, they would never guess. How would they know?
That's right.
You know, some people never recover from these kind of things. I mean, it takes them all the way down. They never become their happy selves again. And, you know, I just think that it's wonderful that you guys are able to heal. Healing is important. Now, I do want to touch on one thing. The prevention of suicide. And one thing that they brought across the board that they said tends to work is people staying connected. People staying connected can normally help us to kind of pinpoint and see things that are going on. We can't
Put the phones down and look at the person beside you.
Okay, we do spend a lot of time on phones, and that's a whole nother ball game, especially with the teenagers.
But I will say, all of my friends call me. Like I can honestly tell you, within like the past 3 weeks, I probably got at least 8 calls from 8 different people telling me that they felt suicidal, and then we would talk for whether it took 30 minutes or an hour, 10, 20 minutes, but I would just make sure that they were good, and then, of course, like, they always know that they could reach out to me. But I feel as though, like, if it wasn't for them being able to call me, then I don't know, because sometimes some people, they can't, like, elaborate how they feel face to face, just because they, like, especially being black, it's, like, hard to just say that out loud, like, oh, I feel this way, because I know certain people, you say that to, they're going to tell you to your face, I feel like you're weak because you want to kill yourself.
For real?
And there are people, I've heard people
Is that
say
like a man thing?
That's a man thing.
That's a man thing.
Sometimes that's a man thing.
No,
that's not a
Yeah, because
sometimes.
women, I'm a woman, and you know,
Right, no,
if
definitely.
a woman came to me, if one of my sisters or a friend or a client came to me and said, Ro, I'm thinking about killing myself, I mean, I don't know, that would kind of floor me. I take it pretty seriously.
I mean,
it's a man thing.
Just to touch out to everybody on this thought, for every man out there that actually thinks like you're a weak individual
Right.
because you couldn't accept it, you're the weak individual to actually say that about a person that you don't know what they were going through and couldn't take it anymore. And it also shows that you haven't actually like been through enough to see what it feels like to actually be pushed to that limit.
Wow.
Powerful. He took the words out of my mouth, bro.
Yeah,
He
you
took
know
the
what?
words
Because
out of my
like you
mouth.
said, you never thought it. You know, you thought it was a white person thing,
Right.
suicide. And you know, guys, we have those things that we say is a white thing. We have stigmas. So I
And-
thought that was so powerful when you said that. It was like a wake up call.
It
Like
was.
this actually happened to my black son.
Yeah.
And to be surprising, I've heard like a lot of black people kind of look at it like that's a white people thing, but it's funny because I've heard more white men say that it makes you a weak person,
Okay.
which makes this whole thing really reverse in my mind. I hear on one side like this race thing, and the other race is saying all people who do this are weak.
Right. And the bottom line is suicide is not a race thing.
No.
And I think everybody here can
It
respect
goes-
that now.
It goes across the
I was
spectrum.
affected by someone from India,
Yeah.
you know, and our people were black, and I know Caucasian people that
Yeah.
have lost people to suicide as well. So it's not about
No,
race.
It don't.
This is not a race thing. This is a hurt person thing. This is somebody grappling with something that we don't even know. You know, it's like, what the hell is it? We have voices coming in people's minds, and these voices are lying. You see what I'm saying? And that's crazy, but it's true. And when we hear these kind of things, and I think that we all have different things that pop in our heads sometimes. Have y'all ever had a thought pop in your mind that you knew was not yours?
Right. Yeah.
You care to talk about it?
I mean,
No.
I've had those thoughts. I've had those thoughts pop in, and you know, it's fortunately for me, I consider myself a strong black man, and so
We're going to take questions in 1 second.
Yeah.
If we have anybody asking questions, let us know. If we have anything that we need to address, we will take questions in a second.
and so for me,
It's a
you
lot
know,
of condolences on here.
okay, and that's
It
good.
is.
We
Thank
we
you
do
so
thank
much,
y'all.
guys, for your condolences.
Yeah.
You guys, they saying that they're watching the camera and they're looking at the comments. A lot of people are giving their condolences for your stories.
I do have some thoughts I can talk about.
Yeah. and
Okay, and yeah, only if you feel comfortable. But I'll share some of my thoughts as well. I mean, I have been angry to the point with someone before. You know, I like to say my anger has calmed down now. But I have been so angry at a person before that I literally felt like something was telling me to pick up an object and hurt that person with that object. Like, I have experienced that. And I'm talking about, I literally told the person, I have to get out of here. I found myself having to run away because I felt like something bigger was trying, my anger had gotten that out of control. And I think that any emotion that's out of control outside of love can really cause problems. We got to keep a balance with things. I think sometimes if we get too angry about something, we need to just step off. You get to the point where, you know, sometimes it's like people just, you ever had people that want to talk about it right now?
Mm-hmm.
You like, look, can we talk about it later? And they like, ah! You like, don't, please. You know, and I think it's important that we not underestimate ourselves. Because I've done things that I never thought I would do before.
Yeah.
Have y'all ever found yourself, you ever done something that you just said, you shocked yourself? I have.
Mm-hmm.
I have. And y'all laughing,
yeah.
you know, we ain't gonna dig into all of that. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna dig into all of that. But it's just true.
No, I mean, it's not like it's really of a funny thing. It's just more like emotions are a powerful thing. I mean, and on the topic of what you were saying about like just thoughts that you knew this just weren't yours. Like, I've gone through a couple behavioral health issues, like stuff like from the military, a bunch of mental health for mental health and everything.
Okay, how long were you in the military? Because now you
I
tell
was
us
in
more
for
about
about
yourself.
I was in for about 2 years.
Okay.
Just in and out, and I got out.
And you saying that it affected you mentally?
Yes.
Okay.
Just I had to. I was on antidepressants, and I wasn't really sleeping at all. It would be like moments where I would have like I could feel like that some days would replay themselves in my dreams. Like that same day would just keep replaying and replaying, like to the point where I could smell everything, like I'm right there.
Wow, and that's something I know I never heard anybody in person say that's been in the military. But have y'all ever watched movies before? Y'all ever saw movies and you know that is common for people that have been in certain levels of combat in the military. They have recurring dreams, and that's crazy that you're so young. And you know you're 26 years old. You've been in the military. You're out the military, and you were affected by this mentally. Like, and thank you for serving our country, first of all. But I think a lot of times with the mental health thing, people don't realize that when people serve our country, I've known so many vets. And, you know, I get people that really take that lightly. That's a serious thing when you're trying to serve your country and you end up coming out with issues. And to me, it's not like you're particularly taken care of. You know what I mean? Like, I commend you for that, Travis. And that's a wild thing.
Yeah, that's very true. Now, I was active duty 9.5 years.
Okay,
And
thank you
so-
for your service.
Yes, you're welcome. And so
This is the
though-
real hero right
Yeah.
here. This is the
So,
real
though
hero.
even though I didn't go to combat, like you were saying, Rowan, like you were saying, Travis, it doesn't mean that we don't see stuff that affects us. You know, just think you're serving your country, and then for me, back in the day, I'm a young man at 21, 22. I also got a family that I'm trying to take care of. I'm going to work every day. You know, then it's always in the back of your mind, get deployed. So all that stuff tends to weigh on you.
Now, I never thought about that. I got to catch you right there. So, I want to touch on that. People that aren't in the military don't think about, that's not a worry of ours.
Right.
You understand? Like, I'm not thinking about getting deployed, or my stomach doesn't hurt when I'm looking at the news saying that our president threatening about war or something like that. Like, that's something that you guys go through that's pretty heavy. I have a friend right now, and he's expecting his son in 5 months. And he's going to be deployed for the birth of his child.
Mm-hmm.
So I think people sometimes, they don't understand the cost.
Right.
So thank you for sharing
The
that.
cost to be a military personnel is high, but I mean, at the end of the day, someone's got to do it.
Yep.
But yeah, a lot of depression, like you said earlier in this. I didn't even know that the number for suicides of the age of the kids who have suicide is that low. But I mean,
Yeah, kids that young?
yeah.
Yeah, kids that young are killing themselves as a result of bullying most
Like,
times.
I didn't like,
Yeah.
and I mean, I was bullied, and I was I was kind of an outcast growing up. I didn't really have that many friends. I kind of stayed to myself. I mean, for any like young kids out there that are listening, find something that you just like in yourself. I don't care what it is. Just find that one thing and just stick with it.
Well, that's what it says here. When they talk about connecting, you know, we take that kind of lightly, but it is true. It's kind of hard to stay in a dark place if you're always around people that are seeing the best in you. So I think that's a big deal. Even with us, sometimes we get detached. Think about it. We really don't want to be bothered. We get quiet if we're going through something. But I think that's the time to really get connected. And I really want to speak to, because if it may be people watching that are going through some of these things and we don't necessarily know that. So I'm trying to give them some pointers on what do you do when you are depressed and when you are in that dark place. Because our desire is to help someone from jumping off the cliff, someone from going over the edge. And I think that the first thing is not to let that thing back you up. Do not stay backed up in the corner. Get connected. Don't think in your mind. Don't let those voices tell you that somebody doesn't care. Because it is, like you said, y'all, it's many people to talk to. And, you know, whoever it is, get out the house. Even if you don't feel like it, don't stay in it by yourself. Talk to somebody. And I do want to give you guys the National Suicide Hotline number, because I really do not take it lightly that people are affected by this and that people have suicidal thoughts. So if you are watching and you are going through and you don't have anybody that you want to share those thoughts with, the number is 1-800-273-8255. The National Suicide Hotline number again is 1-800-273-8255.
24 hours a day, 7 days
24 hours a day, they don't sleep. They're there, they want to listen, they're there to help. And, you know, you don't have to stay there. A lot of people get these thoughts in their minds, and I think they just don't know what to do. You got this in your mind, and you just sitting there feeling like you're going crazy, you backed up. And it is help. And I believe that the thing that you don't think is going to help, you know, like when I used to be depressed, the first thing I did was go in the house. I was by myself. I'd be like, I don't feel like going out tonight. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. And I was solo. I always lived by myself. That's a problem. That worsened it. Because I'm just here with my thoughts. And if I would have been around family, they would have probably cracked a joke, made me laugh, been like, no, you getting out of this house, whatever, whatever. I'm a happier person when I'm connected with my community and when I'm connected with my family. So for people that's listening, if you're going through depression, if it's constantly affecting you, you know, and you really want to get out that thing, try something new. You know, stay connected. Find something you love to do and get to that. Do we have any questions on that?
No, but you do have someone who said military families do suffer from depression and PTSD.
That's right.
Okay, and to who? Do you have a name on that?
Mr. Kenneth.
Okay, Mr. Kenneth, thank you for that. And for you guys watching, I'm sure you can see, we had a comment saying that military families do suffer from depression and PTSD. That's a common thing.
Huh.
It is.
I see it every day.
Every day.
Every day.
And I used to work across the street from Andrews.
Mhm.
I used to work in a barbershop right there for 13 years. So we got so many people from the base. And it's true.
It's true.
This is like, it's a normal thing. It's like people are walking around dizzy and crazy. And they just trying to pull it together enough to get through the day at work and to go back to the couch.
Right.
You know? So, yeah, thank you for that, Mr. Kenneth. I appreciate that.
But also, if you don't want to talk on the phone, it's a suicide hotline website that you can just talk to and chat to on the computer. You don't
Okay,
have to
and what
talk
is
on the
that?
phone.
Get that to us in a second.
Okay.
Or you know what? If you can, get that across the comments.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Or,
guys,
once again, if you got really good neighbors, if you got just anybody within any range of you, just go talk to them. I'm
yep.
pretty sure, like, they'd rather have a conversation with you at any time of the day or night than actually, like, be interrupted in the middle of the day or night because of a traumatic event.
That's right.
Yep, and guys, we're going to also bring in our comment section, I'm having someone upload that right now. It's also a website that you can go in and you can see the comments of other people. It's a live conversation online. And you know, you anonymously go on and you can share your thoughts and look at other people going through the same things you're going through. Check the comment area and they're going to put that right in there. So you can utilize that as well. I'm sure it's free and 24 hours a day. And it's open. You can go right in and anonymously put things or ask questions or share the way you're feeling. And I want to thank my guests tonight. I want to thank you, Travis, Bryce, and Lavelle, for coming and being so transparent. You know, it's just good to see black men standing so tall and sharing, because I'm sure that tonight you guys reach people more than you probably would ever imagine. And I hope you guys continue to do so and telling your story and not sitting on your story. People have been through so many things and they sit on their stories when it really helps with other people's healing. And before we do go, Bryce, I know you wanted to share something about your brother. If we can have you guys bring that on, please.
For a while, that's being brought. I would also like to add in, it is important, like, because there are moments where you're stuck in, like, that depression or that dark space, and you may not have anybody around you. Because there are people who are in, like, places where everybody in their household is somebody negative in their life. Or, like those kids that grow up in those abusive households where they can't go to their parents, they can't go to their siblings, they can't go outside or whatever and find somebody positive. It's easier to say than do, but at the end of the day, try to be your own best friend. Like, you know how they say, like, fake it till you make it? Like, I tell all my friends who are depressed because, and I tried it myself, and it actually kind of worked. I mean, it was hard for me to keep up, but while I was sitting there in that dark space in my mind, I was just feeling bad about myself and everything that I was going through, and I was contemplating just giving up on everything. It was like, I'd lie to myself in the mirror and say, yo, you got this. Like, you could do this. Like, regardless of what it is, like, God got you. Like, we gonna make it. And if I might not have a way right now, but I'm gonna find a way.
That's really
And
good.
it's like,
That's really good.
it's
So,
important.
Bryce, you basically saying, speak it. You about to say something
Yeah,
about it?
if just before you close out, if I could just one final thought from me. Again, if you out there and you out there listening, you out there watching, you're not weak by going to talk to somebody. Don't let nobody tell you that. You're actually the strongest person in the room. Go talk to somebody. It could be somebody paid. It could be your best friend. It could be your mom. It could be your dad. It could be your neighbor. Just my point is talk to someone. Okay? I hope we reach someone tonight. And if I could just reach one, that's my goal. If I reach 100, if I reach 1,000, then I'm happy. People grieve in different ways. Okay? I lost my son a little over 2 years ago. And this is my way to grieve. I grieve, yes, I think about my son. Yes, there are sad times with it, but this is the way I cope. This is the way I grieve. I'm out there for the awareness. I'm out there for the prevention. Just real quick to my brothers, Miguel, Mig, my brothers Walter, and my brother Rob. Hey, we did this and we started this on Facebook probably about 3 or 4 months ago. And now we're doing a live podcast with Ro. To my friend Nyoka back home in West Virginia, Beckley. She lost her daughter last year, 21 years old. Y'all know what? We are the ones to get that message out. If we could just say one.
Yes.
Ro, again, thank you for allowing us to
problem.
come share.
I thank you so much for coming on. And I do want you guys to share. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much for coming on, Travis. I appreciate you guys so much. And I know we reach people tonight. And I do want you to share this, though. Is this actually your son?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Dominique.
This is Dominique. He, AKA, he was pinned with the nickname Duck as a.
Can they see this in the camera? Is this pretty clear?
It's a little glare in it.
Yeah, but I said, because it's probably shiny.
Yeah,
Yep, let me
Bring it
hold
up. Bring it up.
Yep, let me bring
Come
it up.
closer.
just a
I don't want to laugh because his name was Duck.
Yeah,
but
so that
still,
young
it's
man,
Duck.
he was nicknamed with the name Duck. So one of the things we do
Can
on
they see it
Facebook.
clearly now?
No.
Okay.
And I'm
Okay.
sorry.
That's
it's Sort
good.
of, it's sort of glossy. But
Can they see
nickname
it?
Duck.
Yes.
Okay.
Long
Drip
live
Nope.
Duck.
It's too hard.
Not now.
Okay.
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 That's
Did-
good.
Yes.
It's got too
But-
much drip, man. It's too shiny.
Wow.
Long live Duck.
In
Yeah, that's
loving
what we said.
memory of Dominique Lavelle Tedder, aka Duck, born in 1991, 2016. Another one gone too soon. That's a wrap. Thank you guys for joining us and have a good night.
Oh, that was excellent.